welcome to Bluegrass Brooklyn, our podcast all about the music we love, straight from the Bluegrass borough of Brooklyn, New York.
Haunted by the ghosts I'm chasing, shadow in the night, she found a light but couldn't share it.
Welcome to this special edition of Bluegrass Brooklyn. My name is Mike Wilner. You know, sometimes we have content, we've met musicians or bands, or some event has occurred that we just can't wait till the next regular episode to release to you guys, our listeners. So we are now doing special editions. They'll be a bit shorter and focused, but we hope you'll enjoy them. In this edition, which comes under the heading of Music We Also Love, we're going to meet the Last Revel. It's a band that is not quite bluegrass, they're bluegrass adjacent. We hear more about that in the interview. We were at Delfest this year, we heard them, and they were so engaging and compelling, and the songs really deeply emotional that we just knew we had to have them on the show and introduce them to you. So we got a chance to speak with Ryan, Lee, and Vinny of Last Revel, where they tell us about their experience of sustaining a band for years, going on tour, putting out albums, all that kind of stuff, which we found very interesting, and we hope you do too. Before we get started, please remember to follow us on Instagram at Bluegrass Brooklyn. Brooklyn is spelled BKLYN. You can visit us at bluegrassbrooklyn.com. If you'd like to find out about jams in Uptown Manhattan, Bronx, and Riverdale, go to bluegrassjamsnearme.com. Okay, so let's roll. Okay, here we are with the Last Revel. Guys, thank you so much for joining.
Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Appreciate your time. I saw your tour schedule, so I get a sense of how busy you must be. Let me start off with the name of the band. What is the intent behind the Last Revel as a name?
Well, early on, we went by
name omitted for legal reasons.
Which I don't know if I'm legally allowed to say or not, but I don't care anymore. It was so long ago. We started as
name omitted for legal reasons.
And then we got a cease and desist from a band nearby that had a similar name. And we got all of our gear stolen. And a lot of those early shows were pretty rough, like stages that you literally couldn't fit everybody on. And it just felt like a very big uphill climb to start with. Mm-hmm. And so when we legally were forced to change the name, we were like, well, this is going to be the last go, you know, this will be the last celebration. And over the years, it's grown into a lot more of a grateful sentiment. Like, you never know when your last show is going to be. So it's morphed into the Last Revel. You got to give it your all. You got to live every day like it's your last kind of idea.
Words of wisdom. So you guys are from Minneapolis. What's the music scene like there in terms of young or new artists starting out, and what kind of music should we expect to find in the clubs and venues there?
There's a pretty eclectic mix going on right now. When we all first got started, it was a slightly different music scene. There's plenty of bluegrass, jamgrass, bluegrass adjacent acts circling all of the dive bar venues throughout the cities. These days, I feel like there's pretty broad mix. There's a lot of more garage rock influence. Hip hop is still pretty prevalent. A lot of shoegazy, dream pop sort of stuff, but also there's this really fun resurgence of old timey country, two-steppy kind of stuff.
Yep.
That has been really prevalent in the venues that we got started in.
Do you have much of a jam culture there, like bluegrass jam circles and stuff like that?
A decent amount. There's a venue called the local Eagles Club in South Minneapolis, hosts old time and bluegrass jams on a weekly basis.
Is Jalopy Theater still going? Are they still doing stuff too?
You nailed it, Lee. Yeah, Jalopy Theater is one of the iconic venues and centers of gravity around here. It's great to have a place which is just dedicated to promoting the music, promoting the bands, Who's doing the songwriting in the group, or is it collaborative effort? Because you guys do all original material, at least on the latest album.
It's always been very collaborative. I would say most of our tunes done away from the band. And then we bring them all. We send demos too, because now that Ryan and I live in Montana and Vinny's still in Minneapolis, we do a lot more like voice memo demos. And we send them and we see what kind of sticks. And then when we all get together, we get to pick away at them. And that's where a lot of the instrument melodies come from. But I would say lyrical content has always been pretty personal to each writer. There's only been a couple songs I can think of over the years that we've changed a chorus or added a syllable here or there or whatever. But
that's really interesting. So you get an inspiration, you flesh it out, then you discuss it with the group, and everybody comes to consensus on the melody behind it, and maybe it helps provide input and feedback that might polish some of the lyrics. Wow.
Yeah. I had heard that Brandy Carlisle, when they were forming the band and writing the songs, they split it. And I know a lot of bands, especially in folk and bluegrass, that are like, that guy wrote the song, he gets all the writing credit. And from day one, we were always like, this is the band effort. We're splitting these songs 3 ways. So
that's unique. Well, I don't know. Sorry, I'll take that back. It sounds unique to me. I think I hear a lot of an individual writes the song and gets the band to perform it rather than the collaboration you're describing. What I could never understand, although I guess it happens a lot, is the sort of Nashville, okay, so the 4 of us have an appointment from 2 to 4 on Thursday and we're writing 3 songs. And they do, and they come out with...
It's a horrible experience, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you've done it?
I did a little bit of that when I was down in Nashville.
Oh my gosh.
And it just like completely sucked the wind and the air out of my lungs. But you know what? That all being said, there are still good songs coming from a lot of those circles.
Sounds like a manufacturing process to me, but like you say, we're still getting good music out of it. The problem I have is when I write a song, the tune and the lyrics get very stuck. I solicit feedback, and every time I hear like, here's how the tune has to change, I'm like, no, I just can't. I would not be, you wouldn't want me in the band because I would be much too stuck on what comes out the first time, which is probably something I have to mature out of. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the album. Each song is extremely personal and very emotional. How is the mix of inputs from the band on that one? Like in terms of who did which in terms of authoring the songs?
Ryan wrote a handful of songs that Lee sang, and I wrote one of the songs that our former bandmate Lauren sang. And I feel like there is some kind of deeper collaboration and songwriting between Lee and Ryan in a couple of those songs as well. But I feel like it was a pretty even split.
It's not even by design, but that's almost how a lot of our records go, where it's like everybody shows up with 1/3 of a record. And then at the end of the process, we have a full record.
That's great. How many albums have you put out?
This is number 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
When was the most recent album, Gone for Good, released?
It was released on July 18th.
Exciting. It's like a birthday. Some albums you can say, oh, that's bluegrass or that's folk. How would you characterize the music?
That's a tough one. I really think it falls under that Americana umbrella. Indie folk, indie bluegrass. It's tricky with these genre labels because specifically in the bluegrass world, sometimes people can get so defensive and upset if you call something bluegrass that's not like traditionally bluegrass. Mm-hmm. And I do agree with that sentiment to a certain degree. We're not trying to be a traditional bluegrass band. We're taking more of like a folk songwriter approach with an instrumentation that resembles a traditional bluegrass band. It's like our music is too indie for bluegrass and it's too bluegrass for indie.
Okay.
And I think it kind of falls somewhere in between those two.
So let me ask a different question. Who would you say are your chief musical influences? So you guys feel help shape your sound?
Man, it changes every year.
Today?
Yeah,
Today or 2 to 5 years ago when we were writing all the songs of this album?
Let's start with the influences that shaped the sound of the album.
Obviously, we're definitely inspired and indebted to the kind of sound of Trampled by Turtles. I took such a musical step away from bluegrass in terms of what I was getting inspired and listening to. I was listening to a ton of Andrew Bird at the same time as writing. And like all of his instrumental stuff, I was listening to a lot of instrumental atmospheric sound in the time of writing this album. Modest Mouse comes up frequently as an inspiration of a band that brings acoustic instrumentation into kind of an indie rock landscape.
Mm-hmm. So what about today? Who would you say is influencing the way you're thinking about your music?
Man, this question just keeps getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be brutally honest. I am having a really hard time listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
The more we play it, the more we're out at festivals listening to music and stuff. When I come home, I'm like, could there be silence for like 2 seconds? I would say Modest Mouse is in there. Tom Waits is one of my favorites. My wife absolutely hates it. So like that's Lee time when I get to go listen to Tom Waits. I like a good strange sounding record with good lyrics. That's what it has to be.
You guys are on an insane tour schedule. At least it looked insane to me. I'm surprised you're all not in the same place. How do you keep up with different cities and different locations every couple of days? Ryan?
Yeah, we've been doing this so long that I feel like personally now I have a better grip on how to handle the emotional roller coasters of the whole thing, where it was a lot harder when we were younger, I think, to emotionally digest and like mentally and physically digest what it's like to be here and gone and just always on the move. This year, I think everybody's really inspired and motivated because we have this brand new record that everybody's super proud of. So there's this internal motivation to get out there and show people what we got. We aren't touring as much as we used to.
Wow.
Like when we were younger in our 20s, we'd go do 200 shows a year and everybody would pile in the van and we were never home. And now I feel like this new chapter where we're approaching things with this mindset of we got to have some time at home to ground ourselves and make it all justify the whole thing. This fall tour is pretty extensive, but at the same time, we carve ourselves out some time to be home. For example, in the month of December, I can't speak for the guys, but I'm not doing a damn thing. You know?
Well, they're not doing it without you. So.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know if you guys know the classic 200 Motels by Frank Zappa, where he talks about how his band's on the road for 200 days. I mean, he makes a big kind of weird joke out of it because it's Frank Zappa, but it's really about the emotional and psychological strain of just being on the road all the time.
It would have been nice to have hotel rooms back then. A lot of those shows, I remember it was like, okay, it's an 18-hour drive to the next show. You get done at midnight and you got to sound check at 3 or something. It doesn't even sound possible now to me, where we were just driving through the night and sleeping when you could sleep and wasn't very sustainable.
So what's the next project you have in mind? Do you have an idea to do another album, or it just comes up when and if it comes up?
It took so long to get to the release date for this album. Like we put a lot of effort into the back end of this album. I personally just want to just sit and enjoy the ride. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we had kind of a funny idea for a quick follow-up album of just being all of everybody else's favorite songs from our side projects.
Oh.
We'd call it the ones that got away.
Yeah. It's an interesting concept. So I got to say that the music is very emotional and it sounds very personal. Do you ever have trouble sharing it on stage with people? How does that feel?
Feel like there's no other way to do it. Why would you invest this much time and energy? And honestly, how many things have we given up to do this? Mm-hmm. How many compromises have we made?
I hope that some of our listeners will check out the music. I myself started this part of my musical career that's very much a bluegrass snob, and that didn't last very long. I started getting exposed to the adjacent music and all the different kinds of traditions. And now I get up in the morning, I start the day with some Western swing with Bob Wills, and then it's Cajun time, and then I get lucky and I get to hear music from the Last Revels or from other bands that I may not have heard or heard from, and it just keeps my ear wide open. Anybody who's interested and wants to go check out the music, where are they going to find it?
Gosh, you can find all of our music on any streaming service out there. And we have a vinyl for sale on our website, CDs for sale on our website. You can order our vinyl from any local record store. We have a YouTube channel with some music videos and live shows up on there. We have a TikTok for all like the crazy, heinous things that we do on the road.
Okay.
What am I missing?
We also play shows.
Yeah.
There's a tour. There's a tour coming up, a big
That's
old
right.
one. So
Yeah.
and it kind of spreads the U.S. So pretty much wherever you are, we'll be nearby. And that schedule's on our website too.
That's what, thelastrevel.com?
Yep.
Okay. And are you going to be in the New York area? New York City area?
Playing the Mercury Lounge on September 20th.
Wow, that's pretty good, Ryan, because I looked at that list and it's a long list of shows. So pull that off the top of your head. Well, hopefully I'll get to see you guys at the Mercury. And if I do, I'll come up and say hi. Otherwise, I really appreciate you taking time here. And it was really interesting getting to know you.
I appreciate
Thanks,
it. Thank
Mike.
you.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Take care.
It was really gratifying to have the guys in Last Rebels share so much of their inner thoughts on being musicians in a band and sharing that music with their listeners. We hope you enjoyed it too. Remember to tune in to our next regularly scheduled episode, which will feature Emery Lester and our very own Alex Dean. We hope you enjoy that as well. Please remember to follow us at Bluegrass Brooklyn. Visit bluegrassbrooklyn.com. Check out jams at bluegrassjamsnearme.com. And we look forward to seeing you around the jam circle.
You could say I was stuck knee deep in the mud. Somewhere off of Cokedale, I was praying for a flood. Cleaned up all the season, stacked all the wood. Just 'cause I'm leaving, don't mean I'm gone for good.